Hi, everyone. I think we'll get started. I know we're still waiting for quite a few people, but we get going and hopefully people can catch up with us as and when they join. I'm going to start sharing my screen, so bear with me a second whilst I put that up there. Are people able to see my screen? I think you can. I think it's showing.
Yeah. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you. Great. Okay. Welcome everyone to the launch of Melanin Rich. Delighted to have made it to this date. Bear with me. I'm a bit scared, but but I'm sure it will all go well. Great. In terms of the agenda for today, I didn't want to keep you forever, but it is a packed agenda because we really want to share a lot and hopefully learn a lot from each other and look at how we can actually take the group forwards in a very positive and empowering way for all of us. We will start off by just getting to know each other a little bit. And then we will have Sholape Akinpelu, who will talk about the triumphs and difficulties of scaling a female-led African business. We'll then have a breakout session to meet each other, mingle a little bit more, and talk about what it is we think can be done to address some of the difficulties that female entrepreneurs face. And then I'll talk a bit more about the thinking that was behind Melanin Rich and why we're here in the first place. Following that, Yemisi Mokuolu is going to talk about how to use incubators and accelerators to improve the odds of growing your business quite quickly. And then again, we'll take a breakout session to talk again about some of the things she's talked about, but again, how we're going to build this business this group and community going forwards. And then we've got a session by Edith talking about how we can empower female entrepreneurs in a patriarchal society. And then we've got our Q&A panel where we can take questions from everyone on the call, where we can discuss how we build the community, where we can actually make sure that we actually create this as something that flourishes and blossoms and really grows going forwards. And at the end, we'll just wrap it all up and agree what needs to happen next. So it's, as you can see, there's quite a lot to cram into less than 2.5 hours. Bear with us and we'll see how we get through it all. As we go through, if you have questions, please put them in the chat or you can raise your hand using the reactions and we'll try and stop and we will be able to include you that way. Is there anything anyone would like to ask right now? Okay, I don't see any hands, so we'll keep going. Fab, okay. So if we start with introductions, and I'm going to call out the people on the screen to introduce themselves.
What happened to your bike?
And I'll just mute, thank you. So I'll just call people out to introduce themselves. So I'll start with Sholape.
Thank you so much, Ola. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone.
Yes, we can, yes.
Awesome. My name is Sholape Akinpelu, and I run a startup called Harvest. I hope that so that I don't bore you. I'm just usually that person that you see at the intersection of financing, especially gender financing, technology, and growth generally. It's a pleasure being here. It's a pleasure sharing the same space with all of you amazing sisters this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Solakwe. Okay, fab. Next is Edith. Sorry, you're on mute.
Good afternoon, ladies. My name is Edith Maziofa Chapfuma. I'm based in Zimbabwe. I'm a wellness and gender consultant. I'm working in the areas of general wellness, mental health, diversity and inclusion, and gender norms transformation, as well as promoting decent work practices. I would say that's it about me. I'm very happy to join you this afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Edith. Okay. I don't think we have Yemisi on the call yet because she did say she's.
I'm here.
Oh, great. Okay.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you. Let me open up my video. Really, really wonderful to be here. So I'm Yemisi Mokulu, and I run a company called Hatch Ideas, and we also have an arm called Hatch Africa, and essentially the business about supporting purpose-driven businesses, creative, social, and cultural entrepreneurs in order to realize their businesses or their projects or their initiatives for cultural change and social impact. So primarily we do a lot of business development, one-to-ones, and networking to support people in those areas. So thank you very much, and it's really wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Yemisi. Great. Next, we've got Shola Salako Ajulo. Are you there, Shola? Okay, I know Shola's traveling, so she might be struggling with her reception. I'll move on to Lola Shoyanwo.
Hello, everybody. I don't know if you can see me, but yes, my name is Lola Shoyanwo, and I'm part of Melanin Rich. I'm really excited about what we are launching here today. Aside from Melanin Rich, I'm a management consultant focused on processes and finance rates, and I also own a telemedicine service. It's great to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for taking the time out to be with us.
Thanks so much, Lola. Okay. Nyasha, can you introduce yourself?
Oh, I mute myself. Hello, everybody. I'm Nyasha Gwatidzo. I'm based in Guernsey right now, and I'm a serial social entrepreneur. And I'm part of Melanin Rich, and I'm really excited about launching this. It's something I've been talking with Bambo for quite a long time, to have a space where women can talk about and collaborate.
Thanks, Nyasha. Okay. And Joyce. Are you there, Joyce? Okay, I know Joyce is also traveling, so she might be having a few problems with her connectivity as well.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay,
Thank you
okay.
so much. Yeah, my connectivity may not be good. My name is Joyce Tamale. I'm based in Kampala, Uganda, but right now I'm in Accra, Ghana for some work. I am an entrepreneur and a chartered accountant. I run a company called Capital Solutions, and I also started a social investment fund targeting women social entrepreneurs. And I'm super excited. Anything to do with...
We lost that last bit, Joyce, but I think you are going to say anything to do with women and empowerment.
Anything with women, I'll be there.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thanks so much. And I well, you can call me Ola. People that know me and have known me for years and years might call me Bambo. My full name's Ola Bambo. I'm of Nigerian background, but mainly based in the UK. I've worked with entrepreneurs almost all of my working life. And I think really, I'm just delighted that we've managed to get to this date, because it's been something that I've watched where, I just think female entrepreneurs can be such fantastic role models, not just for their daughters, for their sons as well, and ensuring that females can really scale their businesses and make them as big as they can be, as opposed to being, you know, sort of grey economy or side gigs, will really make a big, huge difference to the economy across Africa. And I'd like to make a difference. I'd like all of us to make a difference. So, so thank you for being here. Thank you for giving your time, and looking forward to seeing where we go with today's talks, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the next area on our agenda is to have Shalape talk us through how we female-led African businesses can scale themselves. Shalape, I will put your presentation on the screen if you prefer, or would you like to share it from your end?
Yes, please. Can I share from my end, if you do not mind?
Of course, yeah. Let me stop sharing.
Thank you. Could you please confirm you can see my screen now?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So I'll make it quick. I didn't realize I had 20 minutes while I was preparing this. So it will be a sprint, but forgive me, you won't notice the rush. Okay, so this is just the background about myself. I currently run a fintech for women called Harvest, where we give financial access to women, both underserved and excluded women, through savings, impact investments, and credits, particularly for low-income women groups like female farmers and traders. I'm an author, a published one. I launched my book about a year ago, An African Woman's Guide to Building Generational Wealth. I'm the country director of Women in Tech Nigeria, and I'm an ESCO member at Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce. So basically, you'd see that I'm really at the fusion of women. And so, yeah, I'm your girl. Give you that big warm hug. So basically, looking at the landscape of African female entrepreneurship, in the past, we've had some, wins, and that is firstly the rise in our numbers. At the moment, at least with the dated evidence reports by Global Entrepreneurship Monitor in 2016-17, the female entrepreneurship rate in sub-Saharan Africa is 25.9% of the female adult population. It isn't bad from where we're coming from, actually. And so we see a lot of women now taking up roles as founders, CEOs, and leaders in traditionally male-dominated sectors. And this has had significant economic impact because, as I tell everyone, I say that gender conversation or female conversation, women in business conversation, isn't a gender conversation. It is an economic imperative, because if half of a whole is underwhelmed, it affects the entire whole. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Thank you. In terms of diversity and innovation, entrepreneurship is challenging, it's daunting. I'm sure that you can attest to that. And we have issues like lack of mentorship, lack of sponsorship, lack of representation, because if you look at a particular field and you're seeing 95% of it being men, there's a way that it sends some feedback to you, and you're biased about that. But with enough representation, by more women, you are convinced and you have that implicit bias that if she can do it, I can do it. A woman is in the room, she can easily sponsor it because she can feel your pain, she can feel your triumphs as well. And so I'll just quickly talk about the 3 common challenges women-led businesses face. And the first one, which is about the, toughest one, is the access to finance. Today, a lot of businesses are collapsing for a gender finance expert who funds women businesses. A lot of, interesting, innovative, creative businesses are folding by the day for different reasons. And just to dimension some of them, while some of them are usually external, some of them are internal too. I mean, not having, clean books. You want to fund some women, when you ask for their bank statements, what is, I'm a single mother, please, single mother, with no disrespect, I mean, they go emotional, emotive, and no bank would listen to that. No financial organization will listen to that. We have given those back that by character in the past, but it is because we've seen that you've done your business, your books are in order, and all of that, but not because of life circumstances, as all of us are dealing with different life circumstances. Work-life balance is a thing. When I talk about gender in gender mainstreaming, time poverty is valid. If you have a woman looking after the children, being the primary caregiver, being the nurturing caregiver, there is a way that impacts how much time she has, on her hands. And, especially in a place like Africa, or let me talk more informed, with more information about Nigeria, where, I have my startup, I raise my family. A lot is still being expected traditionally for the woman to caregive and all of that. And then it robs you of the time you need to actually grow a business. And there are tons of gender biases. I can go on and on. If this conversation was just gender biases, I'll spend 1 hour talking about this. It's a lot, but I'll just say that, matter of fact, most of these gender biases are rooted in culture, they are rooted in religion. And unfortunately, those two are ingrained in us, and we can't do much about it, but create much more awareness so that we can overcome this bias. So let's go into the solution, and it's the strategies for scaling. To say, okay, how can women triumph and excel, in their enterprises, in their business? And basically, I'll be talking about digital skills, market access, and networking, business skills development, personal development, and confidence building. I mean, all of these are under capacity building and training, because truly, without capacity building and training, the best of ideas can easily go down the drain. And so you have to up your digital skills. I mean, be more aware about business skills, business development. If you cannot sell, then you have no business in the first place. And a lot of personal development and confidence building. This one is very key, sponsorship, because when I quit the corporate just in 2020, right at the middle of the pandemic, to start my own startup, that is Harvest. And I never knew what sponsorship was until, I would see people and they would say, oh, Shalape, this person, we're in a meeting, a high-level meeting, and this person mentioned your name to say, oh, companies like Harvest, they are not ready for this level, but they are being primed for that level. And because that person is one of, has a credibility, credibility in the industry, in the sector, immediately takes, Shalape or Harvest from 0 to 1. So sponsorship is a thing. And so as women, we need sponsors and allies. I must mention here, and that is why one of the reasons, and this is, between us here, when I go out, yes, I sit with women, I enjoy my girl talks, but especially when I'm networking for business, you see me stand up and go sit amongst the men at times, because it's easy for me to catch up my girls at the salon. It's easy for us to catch up, at parties or something. But when it's for business, take that conscious break, to sit, because I tell people, even in startups, for instance, we are usually fundraising, seeking for investors, and the people who write the checks, because, for instance, only less than 2% of startups globally, less than 2% of female-led startups globally, for instance, last year got access to venture funding. What that tells you is that the statistics would even be, worse if you look at it in Nigeria. And if these check writers are men, really, who should I be talking to, right? I mean, in another 100 years, 50-50 is not exactly realistic. So we have to seek for sponsorship. A sponsor can mention your names and names that you are not, and they give their stamp of approval. So sponsorship is a thing. Same with networking and mentorship. So I'm here today, this morning. I've been at Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce for ISP meeting. I am taking this call while I'm in another meeting, a business meeting with, a friend in real estate. From here, I have another session, and later tonight, I have another one with our partners in New York. And so you see how that, goes. Take our time. It's easy to say that, and, pamper yourself, take the breaks. Last week, I was chilling somewhere, at the beach side also. So take those breaks by yourself, but be very deliberate to network, to seek for mentorship, and it's what you get given that. You see it, because that's why you see the men, they are so driven. We see them networking, strategically, but we just cannot overemphasize that, right? And mentorship. I always say that mentorship doesn't have to be um, a senior person mentoring you. And secondly, it doesn't have to be formal. Formal being that, oh, you are my mentor, I'm your mentee. So we have calls on Wednesday. At times, you just have to break the routine. Pick a call and, call that senior friend who you know that can give you advice in the sector. Pick a call some days, reverse mentor, right? Reverse mentoring. Call that junior, younger colleague who is aware of the, best in class trends that can also help you move ahead. Call your peers. So network up, network down, and network horizontally. And of course, we need government and policy support. Of course, we can't say much about this because government can play a crucial role by implementing policies that promote gender equality. We've seen a few of those conversations, funds around, but we can't have too much of them, firstly. And secondly, we are females on this call. I'll just encourage it. Of course, let's lend our voices to conversations like this too. Because the bias we see, I tell people as someone in gender mainstream, is thicker than you think it is. So we've just got to do something from a place of control and a place of influence as well. So now, looking at finance, I mean, I'm talking about, excuse me, please, talking about how we can also fix finance, because recall that when I was talking about the problems and the challenges, finance was one of the major ones. So I have listed some ways how some ways women can feel the finance challenge. And the first one is grants. Farm, and I mean it as someone whose organization has not only benefited from grants, but I feel like we are so very short-changed when it comes to grants. I see individuals working when I say individuals, maybe a man company, two-man company, walking away with grants of about $2 million, $1 million. I have seen it, it's happened before, right? Because the money is on the table, philanthropists, organizations, funding, they've allotted the money. I mean, they can only give it to the people who apply for those monies, right? So grants are usually non-dilutive, it doesn't hit into your equity. So they are non-repayable funds provided by government agencies, foundations, organizations. So they're usually awarded based on merit and specific criteria. But trust me, if you can spread yourself, I mean, execute great projects, be consistent about applying for them, it can take your business not from 0 to 1, but from 0 to 100. Venture capital is one that really familiar with. At least we have two VC firms on our cap table with a lot of angel investors too. So I'll just quickly talk about venture capital and angel funding as well. VC firms invest in startups with high growth potential. This is where it gets really tricky, because for you to become high growth potential, you need almost an army of people and some traction to attract that. So in exchange for funding, VC firms usually require equity ownership, right? And so if you see the African landscape, funding landscape, for instance, it has really embraced VC funding in the past, I would say 5 to 10 years. And it's still just heating up. Like I always tell people, I say Africa is coming in hot. So you see a lot of people embracing venture capital funds these days. It's one that we've adopted. And aside from the fund, when you choose a venture capital fund, choose one that can also guide you and handle you, right? So they support you with the money and they support you in business growth as well. It makes you accountable to it. Debt financing is one. I mean, I grew up seeing my mom walking to the bank taking debts. Even though when I look back now, those rates were, I don't know why she was taking them, but that was what she knew best, right? And so debt finance, and I see some people saying, oh, God forbid, I cannot take loan. I mean, I've seen a lot of influential people, a lot of supposedly affluent people, and if you see their loan books, I mean, what they're indebted to the banks, you probably take another look at them. But hey, debt financing helps you to scale your business with 0 to 1. And I've said that over time and time again. I know that our risks levels are different, but it's time that a lot of women move from just mom and pop businesses, mom and pop shops, to building global businesses and businesses that can stand the test of time. And to achieve that, we need funding, and debt financing is one of them. And that's why it's important that your books are clean. You know, you're not running a business for 1 year and it is in your name, and you're running the business. It's the same accounts that you buy their pass from. It's the same accounts you pay salaries from. It's the same accounts you buy, and so when you need to get a loan or something, I mean, it just even make any case for you. So loans and debt financing are about the same. Accelerators and incubators are about my favorite. As a beneficiary of accelerators and incubators, first off, what it does for you is a lot of them come with, not a lot, but some of them come with funding. Secondly, they make you investor ready, they make you business ready. They teach you all the dynamics and necessary things you need to know about business. I mean, things ranging from business strategy, tax, finance, legal, growth strategy, marketing, branding, everything that sets you up to build a really solid business. Accelerators and incubators, they do this for you. They offer you mentorship and resources to, in some of them, offer this in exchange for equity. And some of them is totally free. If I count the number of accelerators that I've been into, I mean, I must have been in about 8 accelerators. Last year, December, we're recipients of the Black Founders Fund Africa, and we went through the accelerator for 3 months with a wrap up in Kigali. And as I speak to you, I'm in another accelerator. So there are times that a particular accelerator is known for mentorship, another accelerator is known for growth. And at the level we are now, we are at the level we want to scale. So I'm in an accelerator that is known for helping you to scale, right? And some accelerators that are known for helping you to build structure. So yeah, please, by all means, be on the lookout for these accelerators and incubators. And I always say that one of the best gifts to get from accelerators and incubators are the community, the friends, the co-founders, the founders, the business owners that you meet each other. These days, I mean, it looks like we are all like one big family, especially the Nigerian startup ecosystem. We all know each other, and it's from these accelerators and communities. It helps us cope with the mind-numbing stress that comes with building a startup in a place like Nigeria. And it helps us know that we are not alone. So every entrepreneur needs this one. I strongly encourage that. And so these are just some case studies to look at women that have gone ahead to build, beautiful careers and beautiful businesses. Gozi Okunjo-Iweala, NY. A lot of respect to her. Juliana Rotich, who is a Kenyan entrepreneur who founded BRCK. We have Fatoumata Ba, who is a Senegalese and founded Jumia. Today, we all know the Jumia story. So my parting note is to say that for all of us on this call, what are we building next? How do we intend to scale it? And how do we intend to have a name in gold like all these other women? Thank you for listening to me. It's been a pleasure sharing with you. My name is Shola. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sholape. It's funny because as I was listening to you there, it's as if you had been reading my mind when I was thinking about the need for something like Melanin Rich. It's just, absolutely right. We need all the support we can get, but we can give it to ourselves. And that's what we're doing here. We're networking, we will mentor each other, we'll create the finance groups. We can do it ourselves, and we can start to make sure that all of us get sponsored by the other people in this group, because we start mentioning our community members in some of the settings we're in. Everybody gains. Thank you. Okay, so next on the agenda is, you're very welcome. Very welcome. So next on the agenda is we're supposed to go into breakout rooms. I'm looking now, I think we've actually got about 20 odd people on the call currently. So we'll just break into 2 breakout rooms. And what we'd like to do is get to meet each other in a bit closer. So introduce yourselves to each other, and also just mention one thing that you'd like Melanin Rich to help resolve It might be networking, it might be funding, it might be training, don't know. But whatever it is, just note it down, and then we can come back here and just really get a sense of what it is we're looking for from the group and from each other. Yemisi is going to create the groups in a moment, and you will see a pop-up on your screen asking you to go into a room. We'll go into the room just for about 10 minutes in total, just so that gives everybody a chance to introduce themselves and say what they want, and then we'll come straight back here. Thank you, and we will go into the rooms now-ish.
Put into it, what you've put into the business and what you're really bringing out of the business. So
yeah, so that was interesting for you.
Yeah, that was interesting for me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yes, Rowan, you wanted to share.
Yeah, same for me. I think it was knowing about the different types of funding that are available. I wasn't aware of the range, because I always think you have to pitch for investors, which I find difficult, because they either want some part of your business or you've got to prove certain things.
Exactly. You have to prove the value before you can get them to invest the way you want. And then if you're not on the bride side, if you see what I mean, if you're not as attractive, then you get a lower side of the package. I don't know if anybody else wanted to share what they learned from Sholakwe.
So just as is it Rowan said, so when you're talking about you said the value of the business.
Yes, on the valuation, I assume.
Yeah. So I mean, as you know, having just as I said with the bank statements, just having it separate from the personal will help you to know the value of the business. But if everything's mixed together, whoever's wants to give you funding has to do a lot of work and may not take you seriously.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else want to share? Sorry, Bumbo, I know you joined in late, as well as TO. So there's a TO and then there's a Tunde Oladile. I know you guys joined late. So I don't know if so we're talking about what we probably gained from Sholakwe's talk. And then we'll talk about what we want Melanin Rich to sort of help close.
I thought what was really, really valuable was that reminder about us sponsoring each other. Because I think we sort of take it for granted, but maybe don't do enough of it. So, there's no reason why I can't mention Rowan's business, Bumi's business, Lola's business, wherever, I come across. But, sometimes we forget this, we focus very much on what we want to sell. But if Lola's business grows and therefore can buy more from me, it's still a win, So, so I think, that supporting each other and sponsoring each other that way can be really, really valuable. Also, the thing about, actually getting our ducks in a row. So I think you had started talking about that when I came in, is, if we don't have the credibility, if you haven't kept accounts, if, you don't have bank, your separate bank details. If you're trying to do it on a shoestring without necessarily putting the right investment into it, then it's going to be hard for anybody else to follow you. If you can't risk your own money to actually help the business to grow, then why should somebody else risk theirs? And I think the thing with women is that we're quite risk averse. We second think each other a million times, and we just sort of want it to happen without, putting something behind it to make it happen. And that can keep us quite small. I'm talking from experience. So it keeps us quite small. So I think being able to be in a community where we can reassure each other that what we're doing is valid, there's customers out there, and support each other by, promoting what we're doing to each other, should hopefully give us a confidence to put more behind our various businesses. And that allows other people to see that actually, yes, this is something that at least the owner believes in it and it has put stuff behind it. And therefore other people will follow.
So, so Bambo made a point here that we forgot to introduce ourselves. But I think I had introduced myself in the beginning. So I'll let everybody else to say, short clip. I know Kemi is at work. I can tell you Kemi is a pharmacist. She must have seen the link on my page. So Kemi is a pharmacist. We went to school together. I don't know if she'll be able to talk. So at least I've said about Kemi.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I can talk real quick. My name is Kemi Shoyinka, and I'm a clinical pharmacist. I'm a manager here in Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware, in the United States. I oversee a lab. We're currently testing for RSV, and we do some other stuff too. And I'm happy to be here. I'm actually here to learn. I'm on an entrepreneur journey, and I know little or nothing about entrepreneurship, especially in the African sphere. So I'm here to learn. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bumi Oguntade, I think you wanted to introduce yourself.
Hi, so I'm Bumi Oguntunde of Divine. Yes.
Can you also say what you want Melanin Rich to focus on? So I'll just take notes.
Okay, so I'm learning here. So Melanin Rich is totally new to me. So I'm actually observing and just looking to see at the end of the whole session to see what is there and how I can contribute, not just what it can do for me too. Nice. So, I'm an immigration solicitor. Been doing immigration for about 28 years. So, but my own business is Divine Legal Practice, and it's 18 years old. So yes, my passion is to actually enhance the youth in having their own businesses, not just having their business because they're good at so many things, but being confident to really launch out at being the best person that they can be, knowing the business side of whatever they're doing, as well as having a craft. Because one thing is having a craft, and another thing is understanding business. So this business is another ball game entirely in itself. And I'm speaking from experience. I play small. I still play small. And that's a trust issue. So yeah, and I've just been plodding along and plodding along. So yeah, this year I won an award for professional immigration advisory professional of the year. Thank you. So, but I'm still small. And I know I've been getting so many calls and so many, and I'm thinking, can I do this? I still have this, can I do this at the back of my head? Can I really do this? Do I really want to do this? But yeah, I've been plodding along for a while, but I want to expand. So yeah, despite being what I am in work-wise, I still have that feeling of, can I really do this? So that's me in a nutshell. And I love what I do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing.
Okay.
I think Rowan, you're next.
Hi, so yeah, I'm Rowan. I'm a chartered insurance broker, and I have been working in insurance for probably just over 10 years. I also done a lot of work in diversity and inclusion, so like gender, race, and so on and so forth. Mainly because most people underestimate me. I look really young. I'm only about 5 foot as well. So I tend to get a lot of microaggressions at work. So therefore I like to be the one to say something. I've just started working on a business where I'm trying to, I suppose, build like a tech business to work with smaller businesses and help them scale. So in essence, almost like a digital marketplace. By connecting loads of different industries, but I'm very, very early doors at the moment. I'm figuring out how I'm going to do that and how it's going to be sustainable. And just on that point about sponsorship as well, I wanted to mention that if you're not aware, there's a Facebook marketplace group called Black Owned Economy, which, yeah, I think some people are aware of it. And I find that really interesting because connecting with like-minded people, and there's always people asking for certain things on there. But I think I don't like the fact that we have to be on social media in order to get those networks. That's the bit I feel like we need something a bit more structured in order for us to build a proper marketplace and share that network amongst ourselves, basically.
Thank you for sharing, Rowan. I might send you a message because I like the whole tech business improvement side. I might send you a message. So I'm networking here. Yeah, Alison, I know you joined. We're sharing what we would, a brief introduction of ourselves and what we would like the Melanin Rich, what you would like from a Melanin Rich community.
Okay, would you like me to go next?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm looking at how it appears on the screen.
Yes. Yeah. First of all, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I was late. I had a work meeting, and for me, I'm here to find out more about Melanin Rich and networking with other Black women. I'm assuming most of us here are women. Is always positive for me. So that's it for now.
And what do you do?
I'm a consultant. I specialize in HR, mainly recruitment, also organizational design, and I do bits and other things as well. And I'm also very active in ministry, and that's another job I have, my main job. Yeah.
Fantastic. Nice to meet you. Thank you for sharing. I'm not sure if Yemisi wants to share. I know we did her bio. Did she speak? Yes. Did she introduce herself when we started? Yes. So
she should speak.
She did, yes. Yes, so I'm just going to skip her to T.O. I don't know if you would like to share. Or you just
You're
want
muted.
You're muted, or you just like to observe. Okay, here to learn and observe from Tio. Thank you very much for sharing. And then there's Tunde Oladele. Hey.
Oh.
Yes, Tunde Oladele is my name. I work in IT, that's information technology. And Bambo happens to be a schoolmate of mine. So I'm happy to support any initiative of her. Right. I mean, I've been listening to the conversation that's been going on, and I'm here to learn. And I'm also here to share some little experience that I have, having been an entrepreneur for over 20 years in the IT space. One of the things that a bank executive told me many years ago, when I was about to embark on the entrepreneurship journey, is that if you want others to take you seriously, the first thing you must do is to take yourself seriously. And what does that mean? Personal branding. You say to somebody you're going to be in the office by 8 a.m. in the morning, you better be there by 8 a.m. in the morning. It tells a lot about who you are, how serious you are about the business, and what commitment you have to the business. So I'm here to learn and to listen. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. And lastly, we have Neka Isilebo. I hope I pronounced that right?
Yeah, you did. Just like Tunde, I'm here to support Bambo. My name is Neka Isilebo. I was a classmate of Bambo in university. And so right now, I'm just observing and learning.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I've been taking notes. So I'll just recap. It sounds like we have early entrepreneurs in the space. We have a wide diversity of knowledge and experience that can be shared in the group. And I think there is a general sense that this kind of platform is needed. And yeah, I would say if we can have physical meetups as well, as opposed to everything being online, I personally would like that. Okay, so lots of nodding. Okay. I guess I'm just going to open up the floor now until our 10 minutes are up. So, yes, because I think I have all my my requirements gathering done.
I think the thing that really occurs to me is this plain small thing. And yes, we've talked about women being risk averse, but I think it's also quite ingrained in our subconscious around, not wanting to put our head above the parapet, wanting to test the waters, not wanting to get called out as being too bold or too brash. And all of these things are part of what contribute to us playing small. And I feel very strongly that if we can support each other to show that actually we can try those things that look risky, we can try them. There are ways we can mitigate against the risk that we think is there. I think it would be really, really valuable. And one of the things that we'll come to talk about later on in this meeting is mastermind groups, coaching, mentoring. And I think that really helps in terms of the mindset space that's keeping us wanting to play small. So I just thought I'd drop that in there because it's something that I think holds us back.
Thank you for sharing, Bambo.
Okay. I'm going to, sorry, someone was going to speak and I
Yeah, I was just going to ask a question. Would you, say that's a self-confidence thing, in terms of why we choose to play small? Is it lack of self-confidence? Or is it, what is it?
Can I jump? Oh, sorry. Can I jump in? Thanks. I mean, look, let's be realistic. So I'm a business advisor. I had a wonderful, promising entrepreneur. She got onto the program. She got called by her family. She's based in Ghana. They told her that she couldn't go onto the program because she had to look after her uncle. I then had another entrepreneur, again, incidentally in Ghana again. She started a very, very, very successful business. Her mum called her in and told her, this is not how you should be. She did got no support. Her husband didn't help to look after their small son. He even had the audacity to say that she should, what kind of a person is she? I've been myself in a room full of men, been told to get the tea. I've been attacked, abused, insulted, actually had my name taken off lists on purpose. And I'm a very strong and bold person. And so I don't take much, I take massive umbrage to anyone thinking that women are not tenacious. They wake up at 5 in the morning to make the food, clean the house, get their children to school and still make it to work on time. I don't know any man that does that really, I'm sorry. So look at us, we're all here. My daughter is in her room doing her homework. I've been on, my camera is off because I'm parenting at the same time. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's have a completely different conversation here. At the end of the day, 97% of all venture capital money goes to men. All right, so we need to give ourselves a pat on the back, and we need to figure out without men how we can actually support ourselves, because to be quite honest, they are our biggest challenge and our biggest obstacle. And the fact that they can't even see that is, we need to just, sometimes when someone's not listening, just go walk away. They don't need to have a conversation. It's like, thank you. And then we go and find people we can actually have a conversation with. Sorry, I've just been sitting in here listening and I'm like, you know what? Playtime is over. So, do you know what I mean? Sorry, anyway, I've said my piece.
Yes, thank you. Thank
Can
you
I
for
say
taking
something?
the room.
Can I say something as well too? Okay, so yeah, confidence can be for some people, but not for everyone. In the business world, as you said, being risk averse. So in relation to expanding business, that is where a lot of people are. If I decide to employ this amount of people, it will enhance the business. What if something happens and then I can't pay salaries? So people don't care about that. I care about that. So I don't know whether that's being in business, you can't be emotional because it's business, but so having the boundary.
I think you're conflating risk. I think you're conflating risk with being unprofessional. If we look at the current economic crisis where we've had men taking risks, we're all on our knees, we have no money. Yeah. I manage my business, my staff get paid. Yeah. Just because I'm not employing 12 people, we're still keeping our targets and KPIs. Yeah. We get paid. You want to expand and let all those 5, 7 people lose their jobs so that you can say you're employing 12 people? No, no sensible person would do that. And that's where women sit, because they're sensible people. We're not chasing making money for the, what do you call them? The stakeholders. Yeah? What do they call them? You know what I mean? That's not the point. The point is we're doing a business because we know we're going to provide a good service for people of the community. Yeah. If I don't make any profit, but at least the salaries are paid, at least the customers have had a good, service. Yeah. It really doesn't matter whether or not I'm not like boss guy going to like the members club and saying, oh my God, I made like all of this profit. Yeah. Where their staff are there, sick and tired of them, shouting, these people are horrible, I'm never going to work for them again. I have employees that left me 12 years ago and they still want to work for me. I don't know any man that has a business where his staff are still knocking down his door to say, I want to work with you. Yeah. That's the future of business. It's human. It's, let's stop trying to, credit ourselves or rate ourselves from a male sort of structure. I value a business that values, what do I value? Like you said, the women, yeah? The staff. If that is translated as being risk adverse, I'd rather put my money on someone who's risk adverse than someone who's just all about growth, growth, growth. For what? I'm sorry, we just, I'm bored of all of this kind of like criticism of women and the way that they handle business. At the end of the day, the men are the ones who are putting in parameters which are for their own mindset. Let's start to build our own parameters. Let's start to preach our own value. Let's go out there and say there is no value in being too risky. There is value in being caring, yeah, and responsible.
I love what
Sorry.
you said, yeah, we see in terms of creating businesses that reflect our own values. And I think that's exactly why we're here. There are lots of businesses out there that, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it's just because they're men, but there are lots of businesses out there that run it so that it's very hard for people to participate effectively if they've got any caring responsibilities whatsoever, or if they want balance in their lives. Whereas women, some women, not all women, but some women want to be in organizations where balance is made a priority, where you can work where it suits you and at the time that suits you, as long as you turn what's delivered. And those are the sorts of businesses that we can create. We need to support each other in order to expand those sorts of businesses. Going back to what Bumi, you said in terms of that risk aversion, I think it's a mindset thing. As long as you're able to think about what the capacity of the business is, the question is, are you doubting that business is coming in? You're getting people that want to work with you, too many people, but not enough hours in the day to do the work. Yeah. But somewhere at the back of your mind, I'm just saying you. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, somewhere at the back of your mind, you're thinking, but what if they don't come anymore? but forget that. They will come. You will deliver a good job. They will tell their friends. Even more will come. But until you start delivering, you put one. I'm not saying go hire 12 people at the same time, but if you hire the first one, see how they go, and when you have more than enough work for that first person, then you hire the next one, and then, so it's planning. But when we just sit there and think, oh my God, yeah, I know it looks busy, but not sure I can do it, and you don't try it, and you don't see the results, and then you can't build on those results.
Yeah.
We've got 1 more minute, and then we're going back. So, any last thoughts? Or we can go back.
There's a comment here from Tio that says growth without long-term and holistic thought is a cancer.
That's an interesting thought. Yes, you have to plan. Otherwise, it can go out of hand, and you can make big mistakes without planning. So absolutely. Okay. It seems like we're about tapped out for now. So I'll take
our next session on again?
Sorry, say that again.
Who's speaking next?
Oh gosh, I'm not sure. I think it's me. But I'll check.
Yes, it's you. I think it is you.
Just click on leave the room, and you'll end up back in the main room, and we will continue there. But thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you too.
I think the other room will be back in a minute or two.
Hi. Hello.
We're
Hello.
back in the main group.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I had to leave where I was because there was so much noise and now it's noisier. Anyway, yeah, right, what can I bring? I don't really know, you know. I think let me be a bit selfish. Maybe it was more what I could gain, but my expertise is in IT. So anything I can do within that area, I'm always happy to, you know, help. And yes, I like this women empowerment thing. Yeah, that certainly rings a lovely bell with me. I like the sound of that, and I want to see what we can do for each other. But at the moment, I'm kind of neutral. I'm kind of a yeah, because I'm kind of a loner. I'm used to just burying my head in my monitor and coding away. So it's nice to actually be out here with other people and be able to do more, not just for myself, but for others.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Bambo, back to you again, because we we moved groups in the middle of a sentence.
Apologies for that. There was supposed to be a bit of a countdown, but I think it was too quick. Great, thank you. I think we had we managed to destroy the timetable, but not to worry, because I think we all had really useful conversations in the I think instead of trying to do a recap right now because of time, what I'd like to do is to continue with the agenda, and then when we get to the questions and answers and the panel session, we'll bring some of those conversations back to the table and explore them in a bit more detail.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is, I think it's me. Yes, it's me. And I'll talk very briefly about what Melanin Rich is about and what we are looking to offer to people that join the community. And I'll keep it fairly brief. I hope people can see my screen now. So in terms of what the vision is for Melanin Rich, it's about creating a community of role models. So mainly female role models, but to be honest, anybody that supports female empowerment, supports female entrepreneurs, is part of Melanin Rich in my book. What we want to do is to build our businesses and support people that might be disadvantaged at the same time. Our main objectives are to help businesses scale. So we want businesses to do well and to grow as big as they can be. We don't want them to be in the corner. We want them to really grow. And our key values are being collaborative, being authentic. We had a bit of a conversation about being authentic earlier on in our room, to be supportive and to empower each other. So those are our key values.
It's really important to really look at us as women, to pull other people up. I know someone who talks about elevating others, and only the other day I was talking to someone else that if we can't go around dimming other people's lights or their gifts, because what we're doing, we're actually dimming our own. Absolutely. Unless everybody else grows, we will stunt it. Yes. A little bit of background about why Melanin Rich is here. It's based on something that's started to nag at me. I've been on lots and lots of, well, not lots of platforms. I'm mainly on LinkedIn, and sometimes I go on Facebook. And I think I might have clicked on too many posts that were talking about gender equality.
and in particular, gender equality for people that are ethnic minorities, because here in the UK, those of us that are dark like us are ethnic minorities. But the conversation was very much from a victim point of view. They aren't supporting us to do this, we can't get this, and other people needing to do something different, as opposed to what we might be able to do for ourselves. And I guess it's because of the work I do as a coach, sort of exploring people's thinking and how we might limit ourselves, that made me start thinking, how many people are out there just thinking that actually, it's not my fault that I can't do this. If the rest of the world changes, if the government does this, if my husband does that, if my children did this, then I'll be able to do it. And I just thought, actually, maybe if we talked to each other more and reminded each other more that we can do a lot of the things that we think we can't do, because when we challenge each other, when somebody comes up and says, well, I don't think I can employ that next person because, I'm not sure I'll be able to afford it. And somebody challenges you and says, why do you think you can't afford it? And really goes through it with you. And you realize you can do it. Or somebody else says, well, I don't think I can export because what. And somebody else challenges you and says, you sure you can't do that? What about that person? Or you sit in a room and you see somebody that's doing something that you've been thinking about doing. You think, actually, if they can do it, then maybe I can do it. And that was the thinking that I had in terms of Melanin Rich. Because I think there's too many messages about Africa, about Black people that are negative. When you see huge messages about Africa, you see those aid pictures, or you see those, there's a drought here, or there's a flood there, or there's a crisis there, or there's a coup there. Those are the pictures that we get to see, especially people that are based outside of Africa. We tend to see bad news stories, and that tends to make one think, oh, well, how can I, import from Africa, or how can I export to Africa if nobody has a home because everybody's, worried about a drought or worried about, some sort of calamity. And it's those things that I think if we came together and reminded ourselves and showed ourselves that actually there's much more. There is vitality, there's numbers, there's youth, there's intellect, there's everything that we need. Whether we're based in Africa or whether we're based abroad, we can all remind each other about that, and we can all support each other about that. And that was the thinking that led to Melanin Rich. In terms of what it is we want to do, I see this community as being a community that we can come to for training, that we'll be able to tap into for funding, obviously networking, that goes without saying, but even bartering, let's exchange skills between each other, mentoring, coaching, showing each other how to buy and sell in the larger corporations and procurement, getting into new countries, just supporting each other, giving each other that encouragement that we need. So that's what we are here to do. That's what Melanin Rich wants to achieve together. And I'm going to stop there. I'll take just one or two comments very quickly, and then we'll move on to letting Yemisi talk about incubators and accelerators and how we can use those to grow our businesses.
I just wanted to comment, Bambo, about the negativity of Africa. And when you hear something so many times, so negative, which is quite untrue, it actually becomes true. Yeah. Because we hear it all the time. And it's subtle how you then have your own confidence and yourself in saying, oh, how can I go above all these negative things, because they become true in your mind, in your subconscious.
Exactly.
So we start bashing ourselves of things which are not true at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like to build on what Nyasha said. I really like the last point of what you said in your slide. All the other ones are very hard, but I really love that soft one about emotional support. So I think you said emotional, social. I don't know. I thought, yeah, that really excited me. Really, in whatever it is I'm doing, whatever field business I'm working in, or even charitable field, that's probably, as a Black woman, is the thing that I find might be absent. I don't know, I think it's not just me. A lot of us are by ourselves. We're the only one. Especially the higher you go in the corporate world, you're the only one. And to find that safe support is challenging. And so I really like that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to pause it there now so that Yemisi can talk about, the accelerators and incubators. Yemisi, I'm not sure whether well, I think I've given you ability to share slides, so.
Amazing, thank you. Let me just have a go. Just bear with me a minute. There we go. And so, yeah, okay, let me get my camera open as well. So many things to do. Okay, let me just, sorry about this. I'm gonna have to stop sharing so I can do that. We're getting there. Okay, so I'm Yamasim. It's just, let me just say, it's just amazing just to be here. I've been providing business support probably for nearly 20 years now, particularly working with people who want to support Africa. Obviously, a lot are typically of African heritage, but the overriding thing that we've got to do, for me anyway, is one, work together, and two, recognize our excellence. Yeah. So at the point at which you say this isn't going to work, it is. I see so many European businesses with the most absolutely horrific ideas, and they're getting them over the line. Yeah. And yeah, so there's only two things: work together and believe in yourself. I know that sounds really simple, but we really need to get going, because we've lost a lot of ground. Yeah. So anyway, can someone just verify that you can see the presentation, please?
Yeah.
Superb, thank you. So, Yemisi, so the talk is using incubators and accelerators to scale effectively. So I run a company called Hatch Ideas, and also same company, but Hatch Africa, because my understanding is that the resources, the mindset, the skills, everything that you need to develop a business in Africa is not the same as you would say in Europe or other parts of the world. I always say this to people that go, oh my God, I can't do business in Nigeria. And I'm like, you can't apply the same methodology or mindset to how you're doing in the UK. So if the UK was made of land and Nigeria was the sea, you wouldn't take a bicycle to the sea, you take a jet ski. All right. So we need to start realizing. So that's why I separated the businesses as such, even though they both provide business support. It's a completely different concept and the environment. Some lovely pictures of different programs that I've ran around Africa and around the UK. So I'm award-winning, and I started my career as an events producer. So when I graduated from university in 2000, I struggled to get work. And it became really apparent to me that what someone had done was, I always say this, is that they had devalued the African. So people had no idea or concept that I was actually capable. So even though they saw my grades, they would be like, I don't know. So I was like, what we need to do is raise the value of the African within themselves, because I think a lot of people were putting themselves into positions that were way below their ability or their dreams. Yeah. So I thought the best thing to do was a club night. So I started these drum and bass club nights called Out of Africa, and I'm really proud of them. And also started the UK's largest African arts festivals. I did an 8-day takeover of Carnaby Street and Kingley Court in 2005. And it's just grown and grown and grown. And people keep coming up to me saying things like, before you started the festival or the events, people would be ashamed to wear African attire. Now, you know, they feel like they can they can embrace themselves. And once you embrace yourself, when someone says to you, oh, your business idea sucks, you just go, well, that's not for you, as opposed to trying to bend yourself and believe them over the evidence that you have yourself. I'll give you a very quick example. When I wanted to do the festival, I went for a grant. I was told that I couldn't get the grant because nobody wanted the festival. Yeah. And I was like, do you know how many Africans there are in London? And so anyway, the point is, someone might not see the value of you. You need to see the value of you, and you can evidence it. And then I've also just recently written a book chapter for King's College London on financing the creative and cultural industries in Africa. That's one of the things I'm really passionate about. What we need to all start thinking about is how, and I think I'll say this to Melanin Rich, thinking about how can you create like a small micro investment community, yeah? What structures you need to put in place to have that, because as I was saying previously, 2.5, only 2.5% of funding goes to women, and you can imagine that is probably only 0.002 that goes to Black women, okay, of venture capital. So we need to become our own venture capitalists, okay? And then finally, I do a festival in Ghana because you've got to have fun, you've got to play hard and work hard and play hard. So that's the 5-day rave in Ghana. This is just, these are all the people I've worked with. So what we're talking about here now, and also just to quickly say our services, so do business development, as I was saying, one-to-one coaching and business fundraising, and business and fundraising training workshops, program delivery on behalf of other organizations, and they do a lot of advocacy. So I consult for the European Union on creating better relationships between Europe and Africa in terms of just a whole load of things, cultural relations, and making sure that they are designing programs, development programs that really are in the best interests of our entrepreneurs. Okay, so where are we? Oops, I think my slides are in the wrong way. What is the, actually my slides are in the wrong place, I'm so sorry. So what I wanted to first of all do is definitions, yeah, because we've got business support, incubators, accelerators, and residencies is what I broken a lot down for the purpose of this conversation. Business support is there to kind of almost like coach you as you're going along. The reason that we put this down is you need to know the differences so that you know how the different systems of support can help you. So if you're operating your business and you just need someone to maybe help you figure out what the tax is, or maybe help you to do your financial forecast, or maybe give you some top tips on social media marketing, boom, 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 that's business support, right? Now, if you've got a new, really innovative idea that's going to make millions of dollars or whatever, then you can go into an incubator program where they will invest in you, okay? If you've already got a business that is running but has the potential to then make lots and lots of money, then you go into an accelerator, yeah? And then a residency is an opportunity for you to have time away from work, paid time away from work, so you can think about your idea and vision, your mostly residencies for artists and creatives, but I have a feeling that they're going to become more of a opportunity for inventors or innovators. Yeah, but it just gives you time and space to think, right? So this is really kind of like, now the benefits of accelerators and incubators is structure. What happens, and this happens to me as well, where I can see there's a problem in my business and there's a solution that I need in order to grow, but I just haven't quite figured out the sort of like process to get there or the structure. But these programs will at least give you a structure. Sometimes they'll be based on other people's methodologies, and which is really, really useful, because if someone already has figured out how can I increase more sales in a new market, it's very well worth getting that information and seeing how you can apply it to your business. Yeah. But the structure part is what I mean, like, you know, you'll have monthly meetings with someone, so you've got someone to check in with. You'll have structured workshops where you'll get training to learn about things. You know, it's the thing that you can sit around, you know, sometimes for 3 years thinking, oh my goodness, you know, this is what I want to do and this is where I want to grow. But without the structure, you get distracted. I know I do. All of a sudden, I've penciled, you know, 3 hours of my time for me to look at my branding, messaging and stuff. Something else happens and then I don't do it. Okay. Then, like I was saying, insights and methods, access to resources, resources in terms of money, intelligence, even sometimes some incubators and accelerators, they even have technical people. So like app developers and people like that can actually literally work with you on your project. Mentorship, championing and guidance. So you'll have someone there that can actually help you think through your ideas, help you to think differently. And also, like we brought it up a lot, maybe take away all of that negative, horrible messaging that we as women, especially women, Black women, have received subconsciously or consciously, okay? And sometimes it takes someone to be able to help you see that you've just been under the shadow of some really horrible societal messaging, and actually your idea is fantastic and you do know what you're doing. So that's really important as well. Networking opportunities, super essential, because that's where you'll be able to find things like funders, partners, potential clients, you know, whatever. Skills development, again, you know, when you have an idea, once it comes into being a business, you're going to have to be able to run. So you go from development to managing the business. So it would be good to have like some management, what is it called? Savvy, really good understanding of marketing, good understanding of financial management, you know, just all the basics you can have there. Good understanding of how to do growth planning and things like that. And then validation and credibility, dependent on the incubator. What will happen is you can say things like, especially to potential investors, I was part of this program. And the fact that you actually were selected in itself already gives comfort to the investor that you have been vetted and you are, you know, you're a good one to put a bet on, kind of thing. Yeah. So that's really important. So let me just do some case studies. So this is a program that we ran in Zimbabwe. What happened was we had a lot of social entrepreneurs, creative culture, social entrepreneurs who they'd been doing very small cottage businesses, yeah, but they didn't know how to grow and scale. So they were able to come and do the program, learn the method and the technique and methods behind growing and scaling, what it really means. You know, like you bring in more sales, but do you have enough staff to take on those sales? Do you have the supplier that you have working with? Do they have the capacity to take on this bigger process that you're handing to them? Okay. So it was really wonderful for them to have that. And also, is your idea scalable? Is there something within what you're delivering that's actually much more potential? So for instance, there was a young man who had it wasn't a bookshop, I'm simplifying it. He actually he sold academic books. But what was really interesting was that the thing that was really scalable was the online community that he'd created. Yeah. And so he could turn that into an online ordering, which he'd never really done before, and was then able to kind of like do tutoring off the back of it. And so it was just really interesting. It was just a really wonderful thing, from going to just selling like encyclopedias to actually having a membership space, and the that he could offer tutoring off of the back of selling books. So that was one example. And I put here building the economy. So what it is that all incubators and accelerators, whether they like it or not, they will have a vision. Yeah. So the vision for this value creation challenge was to help to build the economy in Zimbabwe. They'll all sit around and they'll be like, why are we doing this program? It's because we want this to happen. Okay. Then this one was for solving social issues, underemployment, rising unemployment. This was in Egypt, where we supported 100 entrepreneurs. A lot of them were already existing creatives, selling again at quite a low level, and they wanted to scale and expand their businesses, but they didn't have a business plan in order to achieve that. So they were, through mentoring and workshops, they were able to do that. So we had things like workshops on IP, because once you want to expand into a bigger market, you're going to have to protect your rights at the end of the day. When you're flying under the radar, you're kind of okay, you know, when you're selling a few handbags on the market or to your friends. But as soon as you want to sort of like be more visible, then you're going to have to learn how to like trademark, copyright, protect your designs. So that was really, really useful, and how to employ and recruit and things like that. Then you've got another one here, which is promoting bilateral trade. This is interesting, because what you'll have is, you'll have a lot of non-African countries are very interested in getting a relationship with entrepreneurs, especially young ones, across Africa, because the truth of the matter is that they see it as their in, because they don't really understand the environment, they don't have the contacts. So this is kind of like their sort of this. I don't want to say that they're not sincere, but the truth of the matter is, the agenda is that they want to ensure that they have a foothold in the country. So through individuals and through these kinds of like social kind of giving training programs. But the good thing is that you can make them work very well to your advantage. So what happened was, so we had one entrepreneur, and I coached her, and now she's relocated to Paris, but she's now got a massive textiles company where she's selling textiles which are made by women in Abeokuta, and selling them in Paris to big what is it called, furniture, shops. So like, those like sofa shops and people like that want all that kind of unique patterns. And so she's really doing such a great job in terms of textiles, and she's got her market really well put together. Another entrepreneur was able to do this program and then go on to the Nelson Mandela Scholarship, I think, and she's in the Ivory Coast, and she was able to get funding from MTN in Ivory Coast, and they become a permanent partner, to be quite honest, because the credibility of her being on the program meant that they felt that she's a sure thing. And so they just continue to have that relationship with her, and she's just growing and growing. And now she's got a center, because when I first met her, she was just working from, I think, her uncle's, do you know what I mean, garage, and now she's got a whole training center and everything in Abidjan. And so, being on those incubator programs really gives you the chance to think. Sometimes most of the time you'll get money. It's become quite typical that sometimes you'll even get sort of like a salary, so that you've got time to do it. But you'll certainly get development money to be able to potentially develop a pilot idea that you can test, and you get supported to be able to structure your business, your idea into a business, and go and test it with your customers that you've identified, so that you have something that's really real and tangible that you can actually go out and start delivering as a business after the end of, or 3/4 of the way through the incubation program. This one was great actually in the sense that we also were able to network in Germany, France, Ghana, and Nigeria. And when we went to Germany, we met with the African Chamber of Commerce, where I was able to broker, we wanted to broker technical partners, and we were able to get further sort of like sponsorship from some of the companies to provide further support to the entrepreneurs. This one is developing leaders. There's going to be, like I said, the Nelson Mandela, there's going to be a lot of programs out there that they are not going to give you any money, but what they'll give you is access to network. Okay, they want to, and also access to be able to think, to critical thinking and innovative thinking and confidence. Okay, so don't miss out on these kind of like softer cultural leadership incubators. I mean, the one I was on in 2007 is the best thing ever. I was, you wouldn't believe this, I was a bit shy. And I went onto this and it was so incredible being able to come out of myself, really look at the value I wanted to bring for myself and to the world. I got to go to San Francisco for a month to learn from the most amazing cultural, you know, because at the time I was doing festivals, but cultural curators and so on and so forth. The links that I still have today, was able to meet with the head of the National Portrait Gallery, the Barbican, the South Bank Centre. You know, these people are now in my portfolio, and still today I can like get in touch with them. They still check me out, and they're always going, oh my God, it's amazing. So we did this for the next generation, and I was able to link them with the British Council, British Museum, South Bank Centre, and Create Arts, and every single one of them still have very, very strong relationships with these major institutions. So don't think that these cultural leadership programs are not worthwhile. Then there's another one that's going to be big while we're all recovering, sustaining the economy. This is obviously, you've got to have a business that's up and running, and it's going to be at a higher level of turnover. But the government will give you, similarly to the cultural leadership, give you access to mentors, network, resources and databases that you would not get otherwise. So for instance, there was one where I got access to a database of 100 angel investors. Do you see what I mean? It was up to me to do what I needed to do with it, but I mean, that's worth its weight in gold, especially when you're already operating as a business. And then this is the one that I personally champion, is realizing potential. I've recognized that there is amazing people out there who have definitely got a project that's going to create some kind of social impact or cultural change, and they really need support to turn their idea into a functioning business. So I'm not doing this from the point of view of are you going to help the economy? Are you, what is it called? You know, going to help bilateral trade? This is very much about supporting people and giving them the business acumen they need in order to realize their business dream. And then, so I just wanted to really go quickly. So we've got challenges. So the challenge is that there are very few programs. Yeah. You know, I mean, currently in the UK, I'm not even sure if there are any. Do you know what I mean? So mostly across Africa, there's quite a glut of them. But that's why I put on their business supports. So don't, you know, don't exclude business support. Yes, okay, you know, yeah, it just depends where you are geographically, but there's very few programs anyway. But keep looking for them. I'm not trying to dissuade you, because they are invaluable spaces for helping to grow your business. Then you've got gender imbalance. I mean, it's awful. I'll be doing these programs and 75% of them will be men. And there was the one in Zimbabwe, it was 100% men. We had to basically we had to just find we had to upgrade, unfortunately. So this is what happened. So they were all judged on merit, but unfortunately, because of the lack of exposure and experience that all the female aspiring entrepreneurs did not have compared to their male counterparts who had much more free time to be able to go networking and going and sharing ideas and being with their buddies. The women weren't able to meet the criteria. So we've now realized that we have to change the criteria, and we're asking totally different questions. So it's not about, oh, so who have you met or what have you done? It's, you know, it's much more focused on their understanding of their solution. Yeah. So, and then there's also gender imbalance. There's a massive bias. I'm not really sure why people try to pretend there isn't. So we have to overcome that as well. We have to try to be as balanced and unbiased as possible. Then there's a power imbalance. So what happens is that because you have got no money and the accelerator and the incubator are the ones with the opportunity, it feels like you are there chasing them to support you. But what you've got to do is very, very clearly understand what your value is, and try to raise yourself up to equal partnership mentally, just your intention. But yeah, the power imbalance is there, and it's another discussion to figure out how we work through that. But that's what I do a lot of work in the European Commission, because they don't even realize it themselves. And so I've been working with them to come up with training. We've been training them in terms of their assessment, in terms of the way they judge you and they work with you. You know, I don't know if you've had that experience before when you're going for a grant or something like that. You feel so vulnerable, and you feel so sort of like you have to interrogated or whatever. So we've been working with them to realize that that's what they're doing, so they now have anyway. That's another conversation. Anyway, so then you've got lack of continuity. So, you know, you'll have these like sporadic incubators, and you've missed the deadline and you think, oh my God, this is perfect for me, but they're not doing it again. Imposter syndrome, where we feel that we shouldn't be the one, we're not the special number one person that could be picked for this, you know, program. Family commitments, I mean, I can't stress that enough. I did a professional development program actually where we offered bursaries, childcare bursaries, because I was like, I was not going to allow all these amazing women to miss out because their partner wasn't capable of looking after his own children, and or you've got a lot of single mums out there. So we put out childcare bursaries. I would say to Melanin Rich that that's another thing that you should start thinking about doing, sort of like, you know, childcare bursaries and things like that. Then women have a lack of sponsors and mentors. All right, it's as simple as that. When I was going to school, I went to a very, very posh school. I didn't know this. All my male friends all had some their dad's mate who was already had like 20 grand ready for them so, like, to go and do whatever they want to do. I don't know that many women who have that chunk of money that's there. I was really lucky, and that's why I was when I had my daughter, because I would work for myself, I wouldn't have been entitled to maternity, and so I was able to get no, it's not a hardship fund, but it's more like a sort of like a leadership fund. And I got £20,000, and it was basically there, and it enabled me to be able to spend time with my daughter, feed myself and my daughter, and, you know, not feel stressed and not worry, and really take that time out for us to bond, and then be able to get back into the game without having been too traumatized from like the stresses of life and having no money. So yeah, so that's that. Now, approach. So what I would say is be clear on what you need support for. I have so many people that come up to me and they're very clear on their business idea, but they don't know why they need support. So it's kind of like, be clear on like, I need more help finding a research partner, or I need more help finding a delivery team or an app developer, or I want to put together a financial forecasting plan, or I want to actually come up with a growth and scaling plan, or I want a marketing yeah. Be clear on how the program will support you. Right, okay, so this program offers mentors and training. Oh, but it doesn't offer the training I need, you know, or it does, or it's all happening in a country that I haven't got time to take, or it's all happening online, or whatever it is, yeah. But just be clear on how the program will benefit you, and be clear on how the on how it operates, because there's nothing more irritating for everybody when you go onto a program and you turn around and like, oh my God, I didn't know that my commitment was that I had to spend 1 week in France. Oh, I can't do that now. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be really clear. Or if you had an expectation that you were going to have a mentor, but the program doesn't actually offer one, you have to go and find your own mentor. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So research them thoroughly. All incubators and accelerators have got egos. They love people that say, oh my God, I really loved the program that you did last year, or I really like the fact that you 3 people have come together because, you know, of this reason to do this thing. Get to know them, email, whatever. LinkedIn is great. I'm really excited and interested to be part of your incubator and accelerator program. Thank you so much for putting it together. Are there any pre-events or networking that I could attend so I can know more? And then get a mentor and someone to endorse you. The truth is now, if you want to become a serious entrepreneur, you need to get a name behind you. The world is shallow. We're all very, very, very shallow people, yeah? And we're much more supportive of you if you are supported by someone people know. So my one is Dangote. so you know, that's easy sort of thing. So it took me 12 years to get it, but it was like along the way, I've been able to get various different, you know, people that are 5 to 7 to 10 rungs above you. Yeah, just get one. And that's the person that you can use a quote to endorse you. Okay. And apply. Even if you don't think it's quite the right fit, just apply anyway, because these people have access to contacts and funding and ideas that will be of benefit. So anyway, I don't know if I did the timing correctly, but use your mobile phones to this QR code. I hope it works. I'm new to this. This is like such a, did it work? Is it not working? It does. Yes, it is working. Yeah. So you can follow Hatch, my company, on all the socials. Sometimes we do post dropping information to support you in developing your business. And yeah, so that's it. I hope that gave you an understanding of how incubators and accelerators can help you to start or grow your business. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yemisi. That was fantastic, and so much new knowledge that I had no idea of. So fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone have any quick questions? I'm going to keep it really, really tight because I'm just watching the clock and we're running out of time. But does anyone have anything that's really burning that they'd like to ask Yemisi before we move on to the next speaker? You obviously explained yourself very well because I don't see any hands up. Oh, no, I see one hand. Timmy is asking the question. Timmy Phillips.
Hi, I'm wondering the amazing presentation. I missed some of it, but it was very encouraging to hear, by the way, but I will skip the and get to the question. What question I have is, how do you find the investors? Because as a business, I'm a 15-year-old business and I'm trying to raise funds because we want to grow, but we're at that point where we're not quite making enough to grow. We're just making enough to cover some of the bills. And I mean, some of the bills, but how do you find those people? How do you then, or what are the best options that one can go through to get the business from that sort of like survival mode to the thriving mode? Do you see what I mean?
So that's what accelerator and incubator programs do. So if you can't get onto one of them, then you've got to do it yourself. So what I would say is, you get in touch with an angel investor. So what will happen is there will be so there's UK angel. Where are you based?
I'm in the UK.
Okay, so there's UK Angel Investors Network. Just Google UK Angel Investors, and you just get in touch with them. And what it is that they do offer get ready for investment style kind of support, and they do have networking events. The other thing is I would start to try to get yourself involved with chambers of commerce and like business associations, because they will have networking events. And the truth of the matter is, investors is like developing friendships. It's not very typical that at this level that you will be able to broker a business-to-business relationship. It will be most likely a friend whose friend is looking to invest in, do you see what I mean? Like a female entrepreneur. So the best thing to do is get into those business networking events, but you have to be very, very clear why you're there. You need to know that you need to be saying, I need investment for this. This is what I have. This is the potential, and this is how much I need. This is what the investment will do for me. Okay. And you just go around to everybody and say, I need an investor. Okay. Oh, and also I didn't say I run a lot of training programs on fundraising, all the different, like from investment to grants to loans to whatever, as well as grant writing and pitch building and all of that stuff. So if you follow us on the links, you'll be able to see our workshops as they come. Anyway, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, definitely does. Definitely does.
Yeah, angels are very hard to find. The best thing to do is turn someone you know with money into an angel.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
that's
by
really
putting together a good deck that shows them where we are, what we want to do.
It's
and
more than that. You take them through. So I turned my brother into my angel investor. Yeah.
Right.
By showing him that I was running the business properly and what he could get and blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Okay.
So there'll be a friend of some friends out there that like what you're doing, and you just have a formal relationship with them as an investor.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to build on that, I think something that I've seen in many cases is that you sort of know you want money, but you can't articulate how that money will turn into the growth. And that's a missing piece of the puzzle for a lot of entrepreneurs, not just female entrepreneurs, not just ethnic. It's a problem for a lot of entrepreneurs. So working with a business advisor, perhaps from an accelerator or incubator, to actually help articulate that, to show how that money turns into the operations, the staff, the marketing, that becomes the profits. Because at the end of the day, if it's an investor, they want a return. And with that, if you're not profitable, they're not getting their return. So being able to really articulate that very well will, whether it's your brother or it's somebody that you barely know, that will help to sell it even better. And it'll help give you the confidence to pitch, because you've got clarity about what.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, start pitching to friendly people. Stop jumping in at the deep end with sharks. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, seriously. You haven't got time for them. Yeah, because you're not going to get money from them anyway. So just it's just like a waste of time. Just start to nurture. A lot of current customers are a great investor potential as well. Okay, all right. So you're looking for people that like you and like what you're doing. Yeah.
Okay, never thought of that, of the clients.
That's how I get all my money. I mean, I even have friends that would just phone me up and be like, look, where do I invest? Yeah, seriously, I'm not even joking. So, because I've got a 15-year business as well, and they've been like, you've been doing this. And it's only $5 grand from one, 500 from another. We pull all that stuff together, it means something, okay?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Hi there. Hi, Wendy.
Yeah, I have a question here. So from how I've been paying attention, I believe this is like a community now. That's Melanin Rich. So on what platform do we get to meet? Is there going to be maybe weekly or monthly Zoom meeting, or are we going to have maybe a Telegram community or something?
So that's something that we will talk about in a bit more detail in the panel session just after the next speaker. Yes, there will be a course to talk more and build the community. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. Fab. Okay.
All right.
But thank you, Andy. Thank you. Okay. Next up is Edith. You might notice that I've sort of skipped the next breakout session because I'm conscious of time and I don't want to overrun too much. So we'll have Edith speak to us about women's empowerment in spite of patriarchal social settings. And then we'll have the panel. Thanks, Edith.
Thank you. Just checking. Good evening, ladies. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, to both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything okay? Okay, thank you. Fantastic. I'm not going to take up too much time because a lot of the concepts and ideas that I was going to discuss and share with you today, they've already been covered by other speakers. So some of the stuff will be repetitive, but I guess when we repeat it, then we grasp it even more. Right. I think the key thing for me, whether it's a patriarchal society or matrilineal society or whatever society that we come from, I think this phrase, a woman's best protection, is a little money of her own. Whether you call it your war chest, survival cash, whatever it is, it speaks to financial wellness. And it is about having control over the day-to-day aspects of our lives, our finances, and also our ability to absorb a financial shock and also being on track with our financial goals. Because as entrepreneurs, what I find is that women are at really different levels. There are some women who are starting a market business. There are others in candle making, and there are others who are talking of businesses that are listed on the stock exchange. So it's whatever level that we are at as women. The key thing for all of us is we want to feel a sense of security. We want to have peace of mind. And to be honest, just having and owning and having control of our own finances gives us also health. You know that one of the biggest causes of stress and poor mental health is stress, and one of the causes of stress is money problems can cause stress. So once we are in a space where we are sufficiently comfortable with our finances, that also gives us a sense of security and peace of mind. And in typical patriarchal society, it's important that women have that private war chest with which to respond to any crisis or any financial shock that can come your way, whether it's divorce, whether it's whatever issue it is, whether it's even a job loss. We should be able to continue and get some sort of continuity in our livelihood. Then what typically defines patriarchal societies is that they are male dominated, and the underlying denominator, I would say, for all these communities seems to be the subordination of women and girls, not just at family level or societal structures or religious structures, but it goes all the way to cover all aspects of those communities. The financial sectors, women very much underrepresented. Also in political representation, very much underrepresented. And if you look at the typical participation of women, even on the political space in most of Africa, it's less than 20%, at most 25%. And even in those countries where there is higher participation of women in political context, you will then find that the portfolios that women are running have little substantive power. And also, I think this was already mentioned by an earlier speaker who looked at the participation of women entrepreneurs in Africa, on average, around 23%. But that's just the percentage of participation of women. But when you look at the volume of business that women entrepreneurs are actually getting in those economies, whatever economy, you find that it's less than 5% of the financial pots that will be available. So this is like what the template of women in patriarchal societies looks like. I won't go into much. It's the gender stereotypes, our gender roles, the expectations of the role and place of women has put us in boxes. And sometimes it's very hard for a lot of women to come out of these boxes, which is why you find when we speak to financial wellness and financial security and actively participating entrepreneurs, we always get those margins of the low margins. Then the characteristics of the women that do venture to become entrepreneurs, it doesn't matter what level of business that they are participating in. What you find that even if it's the market woman, what you'll see there is that she's got grit, there's tenacity, there's persistence. These are hardworking women who are committed to breaking the societal barriers, who are committed to breaking the stereotypes, who are committed and they have an imagination and they are looking at what are the gaps in my market and what is it that I can do to fulfill or to cover these gaps. So they are looking at the needs in their communities and they are rising up to say, I am going to satisfy this need. Whether it's preparing lunches for university students, there are women who have risen to become from small roadside cookeries to opening up restaurants because they saw a need and a niche in the market which they decided that they will respond to. Typically, we have the pull and push factors. When people consider that they want to be entrepreneurs, usually it's the urge to do something new. A lot of women are also following their passions, what they've always wanted to do, but it's also a lot about being in a space where you respond to opportunities and needs that are created, and also a lot about creating financial independence and also making a name and finding a niche for yourself. Is that a question or comment?
I think somebody's, I'll just mute them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then the push factors, which is quite a significant number of women who decide to become entrepreneurs, it's really been because of the push factors. And a lot of it is because of pressure to contribute to household income. And I'm sure a lot of us here can relate to that money is never enough, is it? In most households in Africa, in our communities, money is never enough. And there is that pressure to also contribute. People spoke about single parent households where some women are single mothers and they have the pressure to provide and contribute because they are the breadwinners in their families. And sometimes it's because there's been a death of the breadwinner in the family. And all these are push factors that have made women kind of just rise up to the occasion and do what a woman has to do. In most of our contexts, it's not uncommon to know women who are up as early as 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, going to the market to order their fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. And by 8 o'clock, they've already set up their vegetable markets and they work long days. They're working 12-hour days, 16-hour days, just to make sure that they provide for their families. So it's really about the push factors. And you find that a large number of the female entrepreneurs actually fit into this category. But of course, we are talking about how do we accelerate from being a market woman to operating a grocery store. Yemi talked about the incubator and accelerator programs and so much that we can do. Of course, the challenge, you've heard about these problems a lot today. What are the challenges for female entrepreneurs? These have been discussed at length, the issues to do with finances, male-dominated spaces, low risk-taking capacities, and no collateral for women. Even if the banks are offering loans to startups or to women-owned businesses, how many women have the collateral or meet the requirements? The other speaker, I'm not sure if it was Yemi, also spoke about a program that came to Zimbabwe, and unfortunately all the women couldn't qualify or tick those boxes. So these are the very real challenges and problems that women entrepreneurs face. And I was very happy to hear that, to hear all these examples, which are practical, which are real, and which are kind of keeping women back. And these are kind of the general problems that women entrepreneurs are facing in our communities. And then already some solutions have been offered. I heard Joyce from Uganda gave a practical example that maybe it's high time we open up social investment funds. And I know she's going to get a chance to talk more about this, but I really want women in our context to think about how we can leverage and tap onto some of these models when they become available. And the incubator and accelerator programs, how can we also access that? How can we be part of these financial cells? How can we improve our marketing and to look at even the raw material supply? Because some of our businesses are not even managing to get to the next levels because we can't even have or afford the raw materials for our businesses, or we have to import them. These are the realities. What are the training and capacity building programs that are available? Someone spoke about the Mandela programs. Even if you don't get money from some of these organizations, you will get capacity building. The ILO programs that are available, the Start and Improve Your Businesses. What is it that we can do to tap on to some of these opportunities that present? And then I just want to talk about the female entrepreneurs who have grown and who have achieved growth in African context and share a few practical examples of what has worked for them. And what I seem to hear from women that I spoke to is that their greatest asset is them in them realizing that they are a woman-owned brand, that they are a woman-owned business, and use it to our advantage to say, you will use that. So before you approach any potential investors, potential buyers, the flag that you should be carrying out there is that I'm a wholly owned female business, and I've been in business for 15 years. These are the milestones that I've achieved. And there's a lot of pressure on corporates, on the business sectors to buy from women and to increase the volume of business that they give to women. So just by making the market know that this is a woman-owned business, that in itself should also give us that competitive advantage. It's also important that we share our story, whether it's on our web pages or when we have our marketing pitches, to say what was the push or the pull factor that got you started in that business. Tell your story. Sometimes people just will buy from your business because they resonate or they connect with the story and they want to support the vision and passion and commitment that you have shared through that story. It's also very important. And those women that have really managed to make it in our communities, they have a story that they have shared and that they continue to talk about, a growth story. We need to talk about certification. It's not enough to just say, buy from me because I'm a woman-owned business. We need to be able to be competitive as women. We need to be certified. And when people come to do the due diligence on our businesses, let them find you with all those boxes ticked. Even if you have ticked 40% or 50%, there are businesses today that say, if you meet these criteria, it's part of our capacity building programs that within 3 years or 5 years, you should be able to tick off all the other boxes. And I would encourage women to really look for those potential clients who are also committed to supporting women-owned businesses and also supporting women to advance in business. We also want to use our social media platforms meaningfully. How are we using social media? How are we using our LinkedIn platforms? All that, we need to bring it together and connect to say, I'm going to use my social media to make my brand visible, to market my product and services. That is what we need to do. Then we need to participate in women-centric events. Just like we've come to this platform today, we've learned so much from each other in the breakaway sessions, and I hope that we'll be able to continue with those connections and continue leveraging and getting to learn from such platforms. And then it's important to share our learnings and our challenges as well as our victories. And then we need to be able to commit, especially for those that are no longer nascent and have gained some significant or substantial growth to their business. We need to be able to give back to other women by empowering other women through deliberate mentorship programs and for sponsoring other women to get also into these spaces. I think that is all I have to share with you, and in a bridged version of the conversation that we need to have as women entrepreneurs in patriarchal societies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edith. That was phenomenal. You know, like you said, that there's just so much we can do for each other. Does anyone have any immediate pressing questions for Edith? That said, our next session is really about questions and answers, but anything for Edith specifically?
Can I jump in? That was amazing. Thank you so much for breaking that down so deliberately. But I wanted to know, do you have access to like a database of maybe a number of kind of like female networks or just friendly spaces that already recognize and understand and are working hard towards their duty in terms of supporting female entrepreneurs?
Maybe not on a regional level, but what I would say, this is something in Zimbabwe that we've just started to do in the past couple of years. We have now platforms for women leadership development, and we have just last year started a platform called Women Owned Business or Women Owned Brand. And it has a badge that all the women who are certified and have joined this platform, you actually can use that as part of your marketing strategies and marketing tools. And they do create platforms with potential buyers of female businesses where women can pitch their businesses. And it's a great way to propel women's businesses. It's still early days yet, but it's already starting to show that it has the capacity to make women's businesses visible. And alongside that, the Secretariat has also gone to the listed companies and gotten signed commitments to say, what do you commit to in terms of increasing their kind of volumes and businesses that they do with women? On average, most of them were sitting on 2%, 3% of their suppliers were women, and they are committing to increase that to about 10% within the next 2 years. So it's fantastic opportunity to just have a women-owned brand platform and database. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. That was really great. Okay, what I'd like to do now is to open things up for more general questions and answers. And I know that Wande had asked a question earlier on about where we're going to be. So that's one of the questions I'd like us to tackle. But before we sort of dive in, I'm hoping that all of the speakers who are on the platform can put their cameras on, so we can be, people can direct their questions to us if they have a specific question that wants that they a specific person that they want to answer the question. Thank you, guys. Great. Okay. I think what might help is if people use the hand raising reaction thing in order to get our attention, and we'll just go in order as when people have raised their hands, so that it's easier for us to control the conversation that way. I see that there's a hand raised already, but Alison, before I go to you, because Wande had asked her question earlier on, I'd like to ask Wande to ask a question again in case you want to elaborate a bit further, and then we'll respond to that and go from there. You're on mute, if you can hear us. Okay, seems like Wande might not be there right now. So Alison, the floor's yours.
Yeah, this is just a general question. And thank you so much for all of the speakers. It really got my mind whirring, and all these ideas started popping up in my head, even some things that I'd kind of forgotten about. So the question that I have, so thank you very much to all of the speakers. It's always nice being in a space like this with women. I know there's a gentleman here, he's also welcome. But the ladies being here, it's really nice to have that space. So the projects that we've been talking about today have been it's very much about entrepreneurs and the generation of profits, etc. Question I have is, what if your idea is more about something which is community based, like a charity, to provide a service to a particular group of people, not necessarily to generate a lot of profit, but it's really a social thing. So we haven't really talked about that as much, but that's one of the things I'm also thinking about. And I just thought, is that the space? Is Melanin Rich? Is that in scope?
Absolutely. Fantastic question. Thank you. And I wonder, Nyasha, you're social entrepreneur queen here. Was there anything to say?
I definitely think that a lot of people who are, nowadays, for me, you can't do business without thinking about the impact of your business. It doesn't matter whatever, even you're making a widget, how that is going to impact the society. And I mean, we got Elon Musk, for example. Everyone is talking about where is his batteries going to be chucked out, how that impact on the environment. So we are really thinking more and more as entrepreneurs about the impact in the society in which we're looking at. And most people I know, like myself, who run entrepreneurs or who run businesses, they always got a charity, somewhere to give in their background. So they're very much aligned with Melanin Rich, that we want to contribute in any way we can. And it's a personal thing. Philanthropy is a personal thing. You can't ask somebody to give if they're not coming from that space. But we're hoping, because of who we are, women in particular, they're extremely generous with their time and resources they have. So I really do think that it doesn't exclude charities being a member of Melanin Rich. That's just I never thought about, because for me, they're so interlinked with me of who I am.
Absolutely. And I think also it's probably worth noting that to run a social enterprise, whether it's a social enterprise or a charity, to run it properly, you need to go by the normal constructs, governance that any organization needs to be effective. So if you don't have the constructs in place to retain profits, well, not, you don't call it profits if it's a charity, but to retain funds within the business, then you can't grow that charity. You can't provide the support that you want. So it's a very, very similar skill set that's required, and therefore it's not just about profit making. It's just about how do you run an effective organization that can grow and continue to deliver, whether you're delivering, charitably or you're delivering to shareholders. It's basically. Yamisi's got her hand up.
Hi, I just wanted to add that, yes, I think it was probably implied, but I think it needs to be really clear, because the truth is the skill set, the pathways are very different. So if you're a charity, you're going to need information on, are you meeting charity commission? It depends what country you're in. Some countries don't really have much framework for charities. Others have a different one for NGOs. You're not going to be eligible to what's the word, to tell your story in an investment way. You're going to have to tell your story in an impact way. So there is definitely a lot of difference, but I would say, just to echo everyone, everyone's welcome. And I think as Melanin Rich develops, what you'll see is that the knowledge base around those two kind of like strands will start to become better defined. But the only way that can be achieved is if you ask questions about what you need. Yeah, you need to be like, I don't know this, I don't know that, I'm having trouble with this. Yeah, because I think this is the beginning of Melanin Rich, and the only way that the support structure can be put in place is if we know what support you need. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's really helpful. Thank you.
More questions, please. Let me see.
I wanted to ask a question. I think actually of everyone as opposed to the panel, but why did you come onto this call? What is it that motivated you to come onto this call, and where is it that you need support? Because I think fundamentally, if I put my business brain hat on, the best thing that anyone can do is meet the needs of their customer base or their beneficiaries, kind of thing. So it would be very much, why did you come, and what is the kind of support that you're looking for?
And I'd love it if everybody could answer that question, please.
Pick on them.
Well, they can write it in the chat.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I don't mind going first.
I answer
Okay,
that?
Alison. Sorry,
okay.
Can I?
Oh, if Wanda wants to go, that's fine. If Wanda wants to go, that's fine. Okay.
Okay, all right. So I got the link through a friend on WhatsApp, and I've been curious about, okay, what's this link about? So I registered because me, for one, I've been very inquisitive about, networking and growing my business. I'm a fashion designer. I have a clothing brand. I also have a training academy for fashion for women, actually. So I was just very inquisitive, and I was actually very intentional about, networking and meeting people with like minds. Hopefully, I can, my business could grow, get access to market, and more visibility. That's actually why I'm here.
Fantastic, thank you. Visibility, networking, access to markets.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. And Alison?
The reason I'm here is Bambo, quite simply. She invited me, I came because I trust her. No, that was the reason, really. Didn't know what it was about, but I thought Bambo is sound. I look up to her so much, and anything she's involved in will be good. And that's the only reason why I came. And so in terms of what I'm looking for, it is very much, now that I have attended and seen the amazing value, the ideas that I have, as I've just described, are more along charitable and social. I'm not really at this stage looking extensively into entrepreneurship. I'm looking into making an impact socially in an organized way for particular groups of people in society. And that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Alison.
I think, Alison, you're in the right room.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people wanting to make a difference.
Okay, I'm going to pick on more people now. Can I pick on Chineme?
Chinchi.
You're on mute.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Hi. Hello. We had this chat, didn't we, Nasha, in our breakout section?
Yes, we did.
For me, actually, Ola, obviously you invited me from LinkedIn. I had no idea what it was about, but I just love the sound of the name. And I like collaborating and networking and supporting women generally. But seeing that this appeared to be a Black group, you know, the Melanin kind of gave it away, I thought it was a great idea, you know, and I just wanted to see what it was all about and be involved in some way, because I think, you know, what we need is support from each other. Whether or not we need money for our businesses and that, we need to know that there are people that we can rely on, or they can rely on us, and just collaborate in a way that women should do anyway. But I find a lack of that. It could be because of me, because I'm not very, you know, yeah, I've had a lot on my plate in the last few decades. I'm very old, probably, you know, much older than you. So I've had lots to do. I've accomplished a lot. And the one thing that I notice that I think is missing from society generally is that support that we could all have for each other. So, you know, even if someone's having a bad day, have someone to call up and talk to, you know, or need some advice on some aspect of their work, you know, whatever it may be. It's nice to have that sisterhood. And that's all I look for, really. I mean, it's lovely to be able to, you know, get lots of other things out of it, which, you know, there's so many amazing women on here that are doing amazing things. And that's amazing. But, you know, I just like the thought of the sisterhood and the support and the, what's that word I tried to say before? Camaraderie, you know, that sort of thing. You know, that's what I'm most interested in. Obviously, success is very important. You know, I've had lots of successes in my life, but I've noticed that I think I mentioned to our group that I started a group on Facebook called Unstoppable Shepreneurs. So the idea was it's professionals and entrepreneurs, all sorts of women that are perhaps at the top of their game, or they just don't get the support that they need because they're the one that everyone turns to. So it's nice to have a group of women where we can actually just go and turn to ourselves and support ourselves. And that's why I started that, although I've had issues keeping it up, but it's still there. If you want to join, it's free to join. And it's just like a place for us to meet up and network and just say how bad a day or how good a day we've had and stuff like that. You know, life doesn't have to be that serious. Life is there to be enjoyed. You know, some people take it so seriously that they miss out on a lot of happiness. Do you know what I mean? But as I say, I'm a lot older than you lot, so I've got that wisdom that you probably will find as you get older and older as well. But yeah, essentially it is just the networking and the collaborating and being there for each other.
Thank you, Chinele. And you'd be surprised the age of some of these active-looking young ladies that we've got. Yeah.
Well, they say black don't crack, so yeah.
Okay. Actually, I'm wondering. I'm going to share my screen for a second because on here, I've got a few ideas that we've started to bandy about in terms of the sorts of things that we might be able to do as Melanin Rich. So I'll share my screen, and I'm hoping that that will trigger some more thinking and perhaps raise a few more questions. So just give me a second while I get it up. Oops. I can't see my screen.
It's gone blank.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Okay. Can anybody see anything yet?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Great. Okay. I'll give people a second to have a read and then just see what people think.
We can see it now, Bumbo.
You can see it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This is membership benefits.
Well, yes, it's basically the services that we are planning to offer. But obviously, this is what 4 of us have been able to come up with, and I suspect that I know that there's a lot of different other different things that we could do. So I'd really love feedback on whether any of these tick anybody's boxes, and also on what else we should be thinking about. Or maybe they're all wrong.
I know you mentioned something about bartering.
I did. Yeah.
As a people bartering with each other, and I don't know about collaboration either. It doesn't seem to be there.
You're quite right. So bartering.
Joint venture.
Yes.
JVs.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that should be on there that people can't see?
Or well, something people would like, which is not there.
What about like speaking opportunities? Even if it's just within our group, because a lot of people, as you know, they rank public speaking only under death as what they fear, so it might be nice to help people with their self-esteem, and that normally arises out of speaking publicly without feeling anxious.
In a safe space. So is that provided, so allowing people to come and speak as part of perhaps some of our networking events, perhaps sharing their what it is they've done. Is that what you're talking about, or is it?
Yes, really just sharing their stories, just standing. I mean, I'm not a joiner. Someone else said that before, because I've got so much to do normally, but I joined an organization, a women's organization this year, and the whole idea of it is allowing women to speak, just give them the microphone. And the amount of really accomplished, successful women who are terrified of actually speaking in front of other people is mind-blowing. The lawyers here will probably have had the experience, but a lot of people, even no matter how successful they are, they lack that confidence to be able to just speak in front of people. I don't know what it is, but it's there and it's real. If anyone's brave enough to admit that they feel it in this group, it'd be great. But it'd be great to give people that kind of confidence in themselves, that they could go and seek the opportunities that some of the ladies have mentioned today,
So that could come under training events or the networking events. That I also, when I lived in London, I used to belong to a networking group of women, and the main thing was that you had to speak.
Yeah.
And it just gave me so much confidence. The idea of it at the beginning, and this was a safe place, about 20 women, maximum 30. A breakfast morning. It was a weekly event, and honestly, it was just so amazing that you would work yourself into state getting it. But as time went by, I know myself, I got more confident about talking about, and it's not it was really talking about things I do. So it wasn't a difficult topic.
Exactly. It's just the fear of speaking in front of people, which is a real thing. It's a real issue, especially for women.
So I think that we might have to talk a little bit more about the training and the networking, the live events and sort of our aspirations really of getting Melanin Rich being global and women meeting, I don't know what they're called, chapters, round circles.
Yes, exactly. You're quite right. I think one of the things we did talk about, Yasha, when we were starting this was the fact that, there need to be local chapters. So
Yes.
it'll be country-based, but maybe it'll become city-based so that, people
Yes.
meet in person and can really develop those close relationships.
Yeah.
And it's those relationships that allow us to trust each other and support each other that much more. So yes, that's where we're going with this, because, it's great to come together online for bigger groups, but also having people that, are nearby and that
next door.
exactly. Yeah, it's very, very helpful. Yeah.
So yeah, and as I said, if we can expand under the networking events, in what nature and that kind of thing, the live ones and the chapters or whatever we're going to call them, local.
Right. So we'll expand networking events.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we've discussed, you've just said, Naisha, I'm sorry, I can't see what your name is. Hold on. Yeah, just like we've discussed, it's not just about giving each other our business cards and never seeing each other again. It really is about getting to know each other and learning about each other's stories, and that's a good way to learn public speaking, because you're talking about yourself, you're talking about what you've done in your life, so you don't have to practice it, you don't have to rehearse it.
No,
you go up there,
it's got to come.
Yeah, and it just develops your confidence, so that you can go out into the world and do anything else. It's really, really, really important. I see that with my own daughter. I have a daughter with a disability, but she can get up and just speak to a room full of people, and everyone's shocked. But I've made it a way of life, because once you can do that, once you don't fear talking, it's a basic human need. If you don't fear speaking in front of other people, because of your anxiety levels or whatever it might be, then you can achieve so much more in the rest of your life.
Fantastic.
So it's got to be meaningful, not just exchanging business cards.
Absolutely, absolutely. On the training events side, I'm just wondering whether people think that would be valuable, or they'd rather get that elsewhere. Does it make a difference having people from within the community being up there and training? Because that might be another way to have a role model, or is that valuable? I guess is what I'm asking.
What, the public speaking? Do you mean?
Training events.
Well, it depends on what the training is, doesn't it?
True, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, training is always essential, because you can never know enough, can you? I certainly can't. So who was it that spoke earlier? The young lady, and she said she's understaffed or something, but I'm saying that her technical expertise is what we all want, So we can all learn something from other people.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. You never have too much training.
Exactly.
You can't save, even if it's literally the same topic, but if it's a different person presenting it, they bring their own energy, they bring their own take on the same topic. So for me, I feel the day I'd stop wanting to learn, that's the day I die.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's just incredible what you learn. Even things I'm quite knowledgeable with, when I listen to somebody else, oh God, I never thought about that. They've got a different angle on the same topic.
Exactly. It just enriches our lives more, I think. We can all be brilliant in what we do as a job or whatever, but to be able to interact and support each other, I think that's the most important thing.
And we've got so much talent. We don't even need to bring any trainers.
Exactly.
We can train ourselves.
I was amazed to what everyone has been doing. There's so much within ourselves that you know, in a group, we can be unstoppable. That's why I call my group Unstoppable Shepreneurs, you know, because we can be unstoppable.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I'll stop sharing now. Just to make sure that I haven't missed anybody's hands where they wanted to ask questions. Any questions, comments? Okay, I think that we've got to a very natural sort of drawing to a close. The next steps are I will share, I'm not quite sure how I'll do it, but we will be sharing the video or making the video accessible to people so that you can return to bits of this conversation that you found interesting to remind yourself. We also want to start the networking groups, to start having those as soon as possible. So we will send information out about the dates for those, and I think we will start on Zoom, but very quickly start to organize some in-person local events. And the other thing that we want to start sooner rather than later is the mastermind groups, which will be the closed groups of women that want to be part of something that's consistent, where they're supporting each other and actually challenging each other to build their businesses together. That said, everything on the list that I have just put on the screen is coming. It's coming soon. Would love everybody's support and help and input into building all of that. What else should I say? I think that's enough for now, because I know we've gone over a fair bit. So if there's anything that anyone wants to say before we let you all go back to your days, please shout. Otherwise, we'll be in touch.
Well, just to say, I would just like to say thank you to Ola for inviting me, and you both, was it Nyasha as well, put it all together and formulated the ideas and everything. So thank you for that. And I just hope that, so many more people come on board and we can all go forward with it.
Sorry, can I ask if everybody turns on their screen so we can see what it looks like, and then we can have like a screen grab as well? That would be nice.
It would be nice.
Yeah, while we're doing that, I just wanted to thank everybody for their time. Now it's gone funny. And taking time, because I know time is such a precious commodity. You can never replace it. And we're so excited that you've come and inspired to do more for the group. And we really, at this moment in time, there's nothing written in.
You got stuff there, Nyasha.
About how to make this. For me, I'm always thinking of creating win-win situations and relationships, and not a long-term, create this long-term relationship. What I'm looking for really is collaboration, people doing joint ventures from this group. We've got a lot of skills and talents in this group, and we just need to leverage it within ourselves.
I agree. The easiest thing we can all do is just support each other.
Yes, that's enough.
Yeah,
that's enough. And we can do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm amazed. I know some people have had to leave already, but I am just so grateful that you've all come here, you've spent your time here, you've contributed, you've listened. Hopefully you've learned something, and you've also all shared, and I'm really grateful. Appreciate it a lot, and please tell your friends, because this is just the very, very tip, the very early stages. This is going to be a phenomenally helpful network for women of our skin tone. So let's just go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Bambo. Thank you, everybody else, the team, for getting this together.
Thank you,
And
everybody. Thank
see you
you for
soon.
inviting me.
Keep watching next event.
Keep watching this space.
Keep watching this space. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.